As a fourth-generation entrepreneur and business owner, I know the grit and grind that it takes to run a business. With Chingon S.A, we're capturing stories from other local business owners and community leaders to highlight them for you, our querido community of San Anto. From the culture, for the culture. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Chingon S.A. My name is Luis. I'm the host of the show, and I am super excited to continue our series in the month of March, highlighting female business owners and entrepreneurs doing some Chingon stuff here in San Antonio. I am super excited to bring you guys today's guest, a powerhouse entrepreneur with over a decade of experience in the real estate world. Klarissa Gamboa is a credit specialist and owner of Elite Credit Repair, where she helps individuals and families unlock new levels of opportunity through smart, strategic credit improvement. Before launching her business, she built a strong foundation working in title, escrow, and mortgage, sharpening her skills in relationship, recruiting, and marketing along the way. She's also bilingual in Spanish, which allows her to help serve and empower our diverse San Antonio community. But beyond business, and probably more importantly, Klarissa is a proud wife, mother of three, and a disciplined entrepreneur who believes success should never come at the expense of family. Whether she's growing her company, traveling the world with her business, her husband and kids, or staying committed to a healthy and intentional lifestyle, she's all about bringing a life that's both successful and present. Welcome to the show, Klarissa.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. I was super excited to have you on the show, and just kind of learning about you. I didn't know you all that well, but we got introduced by my producing partner.
Yeah.
He was super excited about the work that you're doing, and said that we needed to have you on the show to kind of highlight your business. So thanks for coming on.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. This is an awesome opportunity. So I'm excited to be here.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
So are you from the San Antonio area?
I'm from San Antonio, born and raised. I lived here almost my entire life until recently. I moved about 4 years ago. I moved to the beautiful island of Puerto Rico.
Really?
And so that's where I reside now with my family. It's my husband and I and our daughters. My son stayed in San Antonio, so he's here.
Okay.
He's older now,
Yeah.
so he likes the idea of,
You don't look like you could have an older son.
Well, when you talk about babies having babies, that was me.
Okay.
So I was a teen mom. I had him very young. And luckily being here in San Antonio, it was nice because I had family and, people that were willing to help me. So, when you think about being so young and you don't know anything and you think you know everything, it's nice to have that force to lean on. And so, my mom, being a Hispanic mom, she's like, mija, and you better do this and listen to me on that. So they helped me a ton. And, I never felt like it was the wrong thing. I always felt so grateful to have that experience.
Yeah.
And grow up together. We learned a lot, and he teaches me so much. I learned so much from him. He's such an intellectual guy, and he's so smart, and I just love being around him because he teaches me so much, and he keeps me young.
Yeah.
I'm still young, but he shows me, what's cool and what's new, and, we have a good time together. He's 20, I'm 39. And it's kind of like, he hates when people ask him if I'm his sister. And I love it.
I'll tell you what, my mom and I are the same way. My mom was in the same boat. She had me right out of high school, and I get asked all the time, "Is this your sister?" And I'm just like, just punch him in the face.
When he was younger, of course, me being a young mom, I would drop him off at birthday parties. And one particular time, he hates this story, and I love to tell it like it just happened, but I dropped him off, at a laser tag place, and the mom was like, "Oh, you must be David's sister. You must be on the dance team over at the height." And I'm like, "I'm actually his mom." I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. But then I left and I was like, well.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Okay, Mom, that happened like 25 years ago. Stop acting like it's still happening." And I'm like, I'm gonna hold on to that one. That one's for me. Sure. So, but it's fun. It's fun being a young family. My girls are 14 and 11 or 10, almost 11. And so we're all kind of just jamming out together, having fun, and we hang out and we have the best time. It's cool. I like the idea of being a younger mom.
Why'd you leave San Antonio to move to Puerto Rico?
So we were on vacation, and jokingly, it was just kind of like, what if we, and then my husband, being the quick mover that he is, if you tell him something, he's got it done within the hour.
Yeah.
And so before I knew it, 2 days later, he's like, okay, listen, we're going to sell all of our cars, get a place. We're under contract. Sign here. I already made the deposit. We're leaving. Pack up your bag.
Wow.
And so it was like from one day to the next, we were on a vacation enjoying Puerto Rico, and there is something truly magical there. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to explain it. And when you arrive, you feel it and you know.
Yeah.
And when we got there, I felt it. And I fell in love with Old San Juan. Old San Juan is cobblestone roads, colorful buildings, music, drinks. And it's the whole vibe. The weather is perfect. It's nice and warm. And then the beaches.
Everything that Bad Bunny describes in his songs.
All of it, the good and the bad.
Yeah.
We didn't know the bad. Sure. The downside rather. Sure. And so I was just like, wow, this is incredible. I've lived in San Antonio my whole life. I'm kind of bored and I want to do something different. And, the girls were younger at that time. My son was about to graduate high school. And so I just felt like this could be a perfect opportunity to where we're willing to all go together. But he said, I want to sit back. The girls were just kind of like, yeah, sure, that sounds fun. They didn't really know what they were signing up for. And we did it. We showed up and we didn't know anybody. We didn't know anything. We didn't have anything really lined up. We didn't have doctors, no car, we were just kind of like, we're here.
Yeah.
And it worked out beautifully. We struggled to figure things out, but the struggles were the fun part. The hurricane showed up quickly after we had arrived. It wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
Maybe like a level 1 or 2, but that was our first hurricane that we survived.
Yeah.
And we were just like, wow, even with what we have in San Antonio, it's beautiful. We've created a beautiful life. We're not ready to go back just yet. Let's kind of stick around. And the commitment was for 12 months. Let's see how it goes and, decide then.
Yeah.
And, the 12 months passed 1, 2, 3 times. And now we're like, if you ask my girls now, hey, let's move back or move to another destination, they absolutely don't want to. Initially, when we got there, they cried and begged us to go back to Texas because it was a culture shock.
Sure.
They attended, an English-speaking school in San Antonio, and in Puerto Rico, it was a Spanish-speaking school. And that was just like, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
I know, like, basic level.
Right. And it's probably Tex-Mex. It's not even Spanish.
And that's that too.
Yeah.
So there was difficulties there. Luckily, the grandparents, they speak Spanish and they always made an effort to speak it. But at home, we really weren't.
Yeah.
And so that foundation wasn't there. And when they arrived in Puerto Rico, that's another Spanish. That is a whole, that's on Spanish one, like a level 100 slang. It's fast.
Yeah.
So for them, they were just like, please get us out of here right now. And they cried a lot. And when I saw them, hurting, I was like, wow, this is incredible. This is amazing. I love it. I love to see them growing.
Yeah.
That pain is growth. And now they are bilingual. They read it, they write it, they speak it, they correct me.
Nice.
And even my Spanish has improved from being there because, we go to school events, we do activities, we hang out. And that's Spanish.
Yeah.
And so my level 2 turned into a, level 7. I'm going to give myself a 7. That's what my husband rates
There you
me.
go.
We always reanalyze. Where are we at now? Where were we and where are we now?
Yeah.
And we've all grown tremendously from the move. So it's been a great experience.
Nice. And so thankfully, though, you're still connected pretty well to San Antonio. Majority of your business comes from the San Antonio area and your connections that you have here and all that. So I'd love to just kind of, focus on that for just a minute. So you've spent years in the real estate world before launching Elite Credit Repair. What was the moment where you saw people getting denied for homes and opportunities because of their credit and thought, man, I need step in and do something here.
Yeah.
What was that moment like for you?
You know, being in the industry for so long, I always knew that that was something that had to do with the approval arts. It was like just knowledge that I had, and watching my husband help his clients get approved. You know, it was always that stopper. And so when I realized, okay, I can put my network in with my knowledge and create something, let's do it.
Yeah.
And so it was really about just having that prior knowledge and knowing credit is a major factor in not just getting approved, but what is your interest rate? What is your monthly payment? How does that look for your future?
Sure.
And, you know, the higher your score is, the better the turnout's going to be for you. So let's help people achieve that. And I know how to do that. And I know the right people to work with to do that. So collaborating, that was the easy part. And then now it's just walking the clients through the process to make sure that they go back to that starting point. That's their goal initially. And sometimes they veer off and they're like, well, you know, I'm just going to wait, you know, whatever. But I'm like, no, let's keep going, because let me explain to you why.
Yeah.
So I always had that prior knowledge of knowing credit is that tool that you want to have.
For sure. I'm curious, is there, I mean, I'm sure you experience this, but I'm curious, like, how you kind of navigate the situation. Surely you have clients that will take initiative and say, yeah, I want to do this. I want to, you know, move forward with buying this house or whatever. But you also have clients, I'm sure, on the other side, where you kind of have to like push them a little bit,
Yeah.
you know, more than you would other clients. How do you navigate those differences being so far away?
You know, we talk on the phone a lot. I like communication for me. And I say this in the very beginning, when you enroll with us, you have to know that communication is important for me. I want to be able to talk to you every month. You know, we have a new update for you, and every month things are changing. And when things change, that means that we need to continue adjusting anything that you're doing. Clients can expect from us certain things, and I have expectations of my clients too. And I let them know, you know, these are the items I need you to always stay on top of. And so, like a broken record, we go through that every single time. And sometimes they're like, I know. And then they call me and they say, you know what, look, I got this issue. I haven't been at work.
Life happens.
You know, things are happening in life.
Yeah.
And so it's really just about reinitiating the motivation to say, you know, why did you start? You had purpose in your goal. Let's go back to that and just relighting the fire of that motivation, because they get kind of burnt out and they're like, yeah, and then this and the excuses can pile on forever. And I'll hear them out and I'm like, okay, so let's get back to the goal. So, you know, we talk, and it's about just talking. And once they kind of let all of that out and release it, they're like, I feel better. You know what? Yeah, let's do it. And they're pumped up again.
Yeah.
So it's really just about communicating to them the importance of why they started. You know, I'm in a business, sure, for profit and to make money, right? But it's really the true value of what we bring is helping people achieve that freedom, or the keys to their house or their car or their business, whatever it is that they're doing. So it's like, even though you're struggling now, it's not forever. Let me show you that there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, for sure.
And once we do that, they're like, all right, let me figure something out. I'll call you right back. And we get through it. And you know, sometimes we're not fully successful. You know, they just truly are just like, I gotta stop. I can't.
Yeah.
And I understand. And I just tell them, look, take your time, do what you need to do. And when you're ready, call me. And either way, I'm going to call them again.
Yeah.
Just to say, how are you?
Yeah.
Are you still struggling? Are you ready to get back up? Or like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And so it's just having those personal touches and staying with them, even when they want to quit. I'm not going to let them.
Yeah.
So I'm more of that, like, I'm going to be that little angel on your shoulder.
Yeah,
even
the
when you don't want me
cheerleader.
there.
Yeah.
I want to root them on, because I've been in a bad position financially, and I've had bad credit, and it sucks.
Yeah.
And so it kind of just, once you're down, you just want to keep kicking yourself down. It's easier to just be down than to try to lift yourself up. And so to have somebody in their corner is nice, because not everybody has that.
Yeah. You mentioned something that kind of stuck out to me in terms of your business and how you operate, right? So yes, you're in it to make money. Certainly, I think most businesses are, right? But at the same time, both things can be true. You can be in it to make a profit, but you can also be in it to make an impact. And I think that's important for us as business owners to highlight is like, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there obviously was a reason that you chose to get into this line of work, but at the same time, like that wasn't your only motivation. Your motivation, like you mentioned, is to be able to provide value to these clients and be able to help them achieve their probably long-term goal of owning a house one day. And that's so awesome. I mean,
it is. I love it because, throughout my entire career in real estate, the second somebody got their house and they knew that it was theirs, they would just light up. And I'm like, that is so cool that we got to be a part of that. And I can continue doing that. And credit is such a game changer.
I think for a lot of like, older millennials like ourselves, because we're younger millennials, a lot of us are first-time homeowners, right? Yeah. Because either we lived in a multi-generational home, so maybe grandma or grandpa owned the home. Parents lived with grandma and grandpa. Maybe even we lived with grandma and grandpa for a while, and our parents may not have had that opportunity. Yeah. And so I think the help is needed, right, to like kind of help us navigate that because our parents didn't know how to do that.
You hit the nail on the head. I can't tell you how many times clients that are my age or even older sometimes that tell me, no one taught me. I didn't know. And my whole life it was, don't trust the bank. Do not trust them. They're going to scam you. And, all these crazy things. And I'm like, no, I totally get it because, my family, my mom was always really good with credit and she knew that was a top thing to take care of. And, she tried to show us, here's the basics of how it works, but not everybody had that. Yeah. And so all of this financial literacy and credit and financial freedom is just taking a toll on our generation. And we are the pioneers of like, let me show you how it's done. And either, you've learned how to do it and you're showing it, or you've lived through it and you've figured out the way. So it's so awesome because my passion comes from my struggles and it's just that much more powerful. I look back and I'm like, I am so glad I had to go through all that because now I speak from a place of experience.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And that actually leads me into my next question, kind of growing up in San Antonio and being as a diverse community as we are, being a part of the bilingual community, how has growing up here shaped the way that you run your business and the type of clients you feel most called to help?
I kind of feel like it goes back to that, like everyone's just kind of stuck in that, you got to follow your parents' lead of doing things the way it's always been. And so
putting your cash in the mattress,
put it on the mattress, do not trust the bank, and forget about credit cards.
So
kind of knowing that, like, that's like the vibe of the older generation. Right. It's like, let's change the game. There's so many young entrepreneurs who are doing real estate now and social media and just taking the bull by its horns and saying, let me show you. And it doesn't matter how old you are. There is no shame in it. Learn from us. Like, let's collaborate. I'm not here to judge. I want to show you that you don't have to live in that house forever. And that house might actually be able to make you some money. And let's figure out how to do it. And let me share with you what I've gone through. I may be young, but we've accomplished a lot. And, maybe you want to take advice from someone who has gone through these experiences. So let's get out of that mindset. Let's change it. We're that
breaking generational curses.
I read something the other day and it was like millennials are the first generation who were taught to listen to their parents, but now we're listening to our kids or something like that. And I'm like, that's so true.
Something
it is.
Yeah, something I heard recently along the same lines is we are probably the first generation where we've had to parent two different generations, our own kids and our parents.
Yes.
Right. And it like, I love it. To a certain extent, right?
Do you get frustrated parenting your parents?
100%. 100%. But I love her to death. My mom is awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a difference of like, I don't ever feel like it's bothersome to me at all. For me, it's like I'm not a great teacher, but I love to teach. Okay. Right? I love educating my clients on different insurance products, why they need it, why it's important, all that kind of stuff. I love helping my team learn about insurance. They're not as passionate about it as I am, but that's okay. But those kinds of experiences lead into other things in life, right? Yeah. Like teaching my kid, teaching my mom about why things work the way that they do. And so, yeah, I mean, it's interesting. We're in an interesting time where our generation, is apparent to some extent to both sides of the coin.
We're the hardest working generation. I don't care what anybody says. We're overworked because it is. And I get, frustrated with my mom because she's like, I know what I'm doing. Who are you to tell me?
Right.
And I'm like, hey, Mom, you're just in this, like, she's just on the 1-lane road.
Yeah.
And then, my son who's now kind of learning about credit and finances and all that. I'm like, okay, and I know he's a smart guy, but I'm like, let me just, please just don't make, and I tell him, like, these are the things that I did. Please do not ever do them. So, yeah.
Because ultimately that's what we want for our kids, right? To not make the same mistakes that we did.
We don't, and sometimes I'm like, well, they're going to have to. So it is what it is. But, oh gosh, the parents, they're the tough ones. They're really the tough ones.
Tell me about it.
Love them, but Jesus.
Yeah. Speaking of parents, so you're a wife, you're a mom of 3 and a business owner all at the same time.
Yeah.
What does entrepreneurship look like for you behind the scenes when you're building a company, but also at the same time trying to stay present with your family? What does that look like for you?
So right now, my time zone, we're 2 hours ahead of San Antonio, which is a pure luxury because that means that my phone doesn't usually start ringing until everyone gets off of work. And that for me is usually after I pick up my kids and we've done homework and we're probably already at a practice. And then my work day starts. So during the day, I'm just, prospecting, following up with clients, doing videos for social media, making good use of my time. My kids are at school, so it's all like, let's focus on the business. And then the phones ring. And so my kids know, if I'm going to take a business call, shh, and let me take the call. We work through it. Everything's digital. So it's awesome because my schedule works out perfectly. I focus on things that I need to really be focused on without like, hey, can you make me a sandwich?
Right.
Can you take me here? And then when they get home, they're doing homework in between. I'll take calls or I know, when my calls are scheduled. And so I always make sure I'm available for when they get home from school. I pick them up and drop them off every day. And then, of course, just being able to be there to help them with their homeworks and then knowing that, okay, these are my hours and I'm going to take a quick call. Maybe it's 30 minutes. And then we just kind of jump back into things. And it's kind of cool the way the business works because it's not so like 9 to 5.
Right, rigid.
And it's kind of just like I'll just get a call randomly and I just kind of step away, do my thing, and then get back at it.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're used to it. Mama's got a job. I tell my son all the time, if in the rare instance I'm at home and I got to take a work call, my son, might make a comment or whatever, and it's like, hey, dude, somebody's got to make the money around here, man.
Someone's got to pay for the tennis shoes that you
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, they know. And they get excited too because, they watch me. And I like that they, even though they may not ever want to be in credit or do what I do, they're watching, they're repeating and, kind of poking fun at, the way my sales pitch. And I like it. I love to hear them. I'm like, let me see what would you say? And so it helps them, develop. And they see their mom. I'm a role model to them,
Yeah.
and that makes me proud to know that they can look up to me and say, she did something cool. I want to go do something cool, whatever that dream is for them, and just know that they can be empowered by a woman, role model in their life. And they always joke, and they're like, well, mom's the one that makes all the money. They tell my husband that he's the leader of the house. He's the top dog, but they're like, well, mommy paid for it. And I'm like, it's us. It's us.
Yeah.
But
It's a team effort.
because they're like, well, mom's always on the phone. How many clients did you get, Dad? And how many clients did you? And they kind of keep tally of who's gotten more calls or what's going on.
That's funny.
But they're cool. Yeah.
Yeah. How is that competition between you and your husband? Because you mentioned earlier you guys do the same thing
together.
Oh, okay, you work.
We
together.
work together. Oh, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
He is so competitive that it just makes me more like, if I can one up him, I love to tell him about it, because I'm like, well, I just got off the phone and this and this and this, and he's just like, don't worry, I'm coming. And he just kind of sits back, and then he just does the one up.
Yeah.
And so it's a healthy competition. He is excited to see me thrive. He's like, I love watching you just do your thing and grow.
Yeah.
It makes him proud. He's excited about it. But I'm competitive. But then I kind of get to that point where I'm like, it's okay if I'm not like the number one in, today's rally.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm going to beat you. I'm going to beat you. And so at the end of every month, we're like, okay, where did you end?
Yeah.
Where did I end? And so we keep each other motivated like that.
There you
It's
go.
fun. Yeah. He motivates me a ton to do, to work out, to stay healthy, to eat good, to, pump. He's like, hey, you haven't done anything for social media. Like, what are we doing? And I'm like, okay. So
do you guys find yourself? I mean, that's kind of an interesting. It kind of brings up an interesting point for me. Do you guys work together in the sense? Sure, there's probably some friendly competition there, but do you guys find yourself using same strategies? Do you guys talk strategy about like how you guys are gonna approach clients or whatever?
Yeah,
or prospecting even.
So he's got his clientele, and I have mine.
Gotcha.
And so every day that's all we really ever talk about is business and the kids, and so every morning is like our daily routine is we wake up, we drop our kids off at school, and then we come to back to the house, and I start getting ready to go to the gym. And while we're doing that, we're drinking our pre-workout. It's like our morning coffee, and we're talking about the day, the business, the way the month's gone. Are we down? Are we up? What do we have lined up for the day? And so we're always just talking about, okay. And when we talk about, when we grow and when the future comes and, we have these big plans, how will we do it? When we go out to shoot videos, what are we doing? What are we talking about? How are we going to do it? So we're always strategizing on everything, whether it's our meals, our kids, what time are we at practices, and then most importantly, like the business, like how are we growing more? Like what else can we be doing? Or, what isn't working anymore for us that we just kind of get rid of and move on.
That's important too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for any business owner really is realizing that when something isn't working, because the time will come for sure when something is not working.
Yeah.
And you've got to make a change.
Mm-hmm.
How do you navigate that? How do you navigate making those decisions about, when something comes up that you recognize in the business may not be working anymore, like you thought it would, or like it had been working, right? And making an effort to, make a change and impact your business as you're still growing.
We just go. We don't think too much about, oh, I wish it could have been. It's more of, what are we doing? We got to make it. We got to figure something out. Before I had the media team that I have now, I was working with somebody else, and that was a struggle because it was a weird relationship, and I was just like, I don't love this. I'm not feeling it. Like, we got to change it. The way we run the operation side of things was another change that's, happened a couple times where we're like, this isn't working. And I always pray on it. And I always say, God, help me figure out what's the next move. And then, someone just shows up and I'm like, this is God's work helping me re-navigate what I need to do. And we got to take that risk. We got to figure out, is it going to work? And until we do it, we don't know. And so we're always open to change.
Yeah.
George, my husband, he loves change. He's like, keep changing. If it's working, we want to keep it working.
Sure,
But if we know that we can change something to grow, he's all about it. And he's like, let's do it.
Nice.
Let's do it. And we support each other in it. And if we fall, it's okay. We're going to figure out how to get back up. We have fallen plenty of times. And we've gotten up every single one of those. Yeah. So whatever were to happen, or if anything does, we're ready to just go.
Nice. We talked about, being a generational difference maker, right? So you help a lot of your clients raise their credit scores so that they can qualify for the bigger goals in life, like buying a house. When you think about the long-term vision of your company, do you see yourself or do you see the work that you're doing in credit repair almost like a financial empowerment for families in our community?
Oh, most definitely. Because once they achieve that goal of homeownership, they are so motivated. They are like, what can I do now? And I'm like, well, what else, beyond just.
Does your work stop after somebody buys a home?
No. And I tell clients, listen, this is an end. If you need advice going further and you're maintaining and you just want, someone to spin some ideas off of, call me. Yeah. Call me. I mean, we become friends along the way. Yeah. We talk so much that, we get to know each other. Sure. And it's cool because it's like, it doesn't end there. It actually starts there. And, that turns into, more growth for us. But one house is just, it opens the door to so much more. And I'm like, look, when we're consulting initially, I always want to know, what's your ultimate goal? Yeah. Most of the time, these are referrals coming from real estate agents or loan officers. So we already know that the big goal is to buy a house.
Obviously.
But I'm like, but what else are you wanting to do? And one of my clients, he said, my wife wants to start a business. And, we want to take a vacation, but I just need to get things under control after, all these events that we're doing and for the house and whatever. And, and we're helping them kind of figure out that path of like, okay, your wife wants to start a business. Where's she at with her credit? Let's figure out what comes next. What are the next steps? Another one of my clients, he bought his house. Finally, he was excited. Then he got his dream car. Then, he wants to start a business too. And I said, perfect, let's do it. Let's figure it out. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm more excited than them, but I'm like, I call and I'm like, hey, how's it going? Where are you at? Like, what's the plan? Oh man, I was just thinking about that. And I'm like, no, you weren't.
Yeah.
Or maybe you were. But I'm like, let's go. Come on. Yeah. What else can you be doing to get further to, closer to that goal? And I don't know. I'm just like a hype girl. I love to hype people up.
I don't know how you do it. You do have a ton of energy. And especially with all the things that you have going on, how do you stay motivated on days when, you've got motherhood you're dealing with, you've got business that you're dealing with, you've got clients that need your attention. I mean, that's a lot of demand on your energy level. How do you deal with that?
It is. Sometimes I jokingly say, like, I just need to cancel today. And I can't do much. I have to be just minimal. Yeah. Because sometimes that energy is low.
Yeah.
And I recognize when I need to rest and pause. And when that comes, I have to acknowledge it and remind myself, like, look, if I'm not getting a lot of calls today, I'm not going to stress. I'm just going to, take my time and figure out where else can I apply my energy and be just at a calmer pace and take advantage of the calmness. Because then here comes the round of, busy, and I don't want to burn out. Yeah. I do not want to burn out. I want to be steady. So when I need to rest, I rest. Nice. And there are days where I'm like, I'm going to, take the morning to just sleep. My kids are at school now. My husband, you go to the gym, I'm going to sleep. And he's just like, all right, because I can sleep forever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, just let me rest. And then, let me get back at it. Sometimes it's just a power nap. Yeah. I'm like, let me just take a quick 20 minute, let me just close my eyes.
Yeah.
And then I wake up and I'm like, okay, I'm ready. Let's go. Yeah. So it's just recognizing when you need to pause.
Nice. I've really enjoyed our conversation. Thank you so much for coming on the show. As we kind of wrap up here, I always like to ask our guests about what legacy looks like for them, right? When you look forward to the next 10 years, what kind of impact do you want for your business to have on the San Antonio community, especially for first-time home buyers, for entrepreneurs, and for families that are trying to break these generational financial barriers that we've been talking about on the show?
I want to see us be able to continue growing in the sense of people know who we are and what we stand for. That we're human beings that are reliable. We can help you, and we're going to help you achieve whatever it is that you want. And we're not just those people that are, the scammers or the people that just, take from you and never did anything. That we truly help, and that, maybe we become a household name and people know that, Elite Credit Repair has been around for years, and they helped, my mother, my kids, my grandkids, my, great grandkids, and it just keeps going. And, a part of me wants my kids to take over that, and we talk about it a lot, and we're like, which one of y'all is gonna take over? Or we start assigning the roles of like, I think my youngest, she's very outgoing. I'm like, she's good at talking to people. She's got to be,
she's the marketer,
she's the face. And my other daughter, she's more of like the handler of money and the sales and just getting things done. And so we start assigning, and I try to get my son into it, and he's just like, it's hard, Mom, and I don't know the same people that but it's like maybe one day they'll take over. Maybe they won't, but I hope that we can keep doing it, because the pace that we go is so calm, and we're not chasing high quantity of clients, we're chasing quality of service. So
super important.
If I could keep doing this forever, I love the way my schedule goes and the way our lives have changed. And I enjoy talking to people. They give me energy.
Nice.
That's where a lot of my energy comes from.
From talking to other people.
Talking to other people and getting excited for them.
You can tell you're very much an extrovert for sure.
Yeah. So I hope that we can leave that legacy of, I accomplished not just a house, but, so much more because Elite Credit Repair, Klarissa Gamboa and George Gamboa helped me achieve this. They were the ones that pushed me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, Klarissa, thanks so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate the conversation. Learned a lot about you and your business. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I've always been a little bit confused about what credit repair specialists do. But yeah, hearing you talk about how passionate you are about, what you're doing, makes me want to learn more. So thanks for that. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Guys, thanks so much for checking out another episode of Chingon S.A. My name is Luis. I'm the host of the show. We'll see you guys next week. This has been an LIS Studio and Serafina Digital production. Be sure to like and subscribe to the show on your favorite platform. And tell a friend about the show by sharing this episode on your Facebook and TikTok. If you're a business owner, entrepreneur, or someone doing really cool things in San Antonio and want to get your story on our show, email us at luis@lealinsurance.com.